So we're talking about BlackRock, which is the largest asset manager on earth. And they are now going to allow people to trade crypto on their platform, or at least invest in it. So this goes through a platform they own called Aladdin, some sort of asset purchasing platform. And they're opening the books so people can buy and sell crypto. Notably, BlackRock has a large stake in MicroStrategy, which is basically a Bitcoin proxy stock at this point. But it's Michael Saylor's firm that does data intelligence work and also has huge amounts of Bitcoin on its balance sheet. So what we're seeing here basically is BlackRock continues to get exposure to the crypto markets. A nice little note at the bottom of this article also says that about 20 people inside the firm are dedicated towards looking at the crypto markets themselves. Lastly, I would note that the fact that they're opening this up to investors at BlackRock means that there's interest from clients to trade crypto, or at least to have exposure for their own personal investments. Pretty big deal across the board. BlackRock is I don't even bigger than a 10,000 pound elephant, like a 100,000 pound elephant in the investing world. They're huge. And the fact that they're getting into this basically means that at some point, everybody needs to get involved with this. Naomi, I want to throw this one up to you. We saw a lot of titans of finance, quote unquote, jump into the crypto ring last year. Can't remember any off the top of my head. Who was the one that was at Consensus?
Ray Dalio.
Ray Dalio, that's who it was.
Dived in, yeah.
What? Don't give me that. I was like, who is that guy? Ray Dalio is at Consensus. He jumped into it, and then a bunch of other people as well jumped into it last year. And BlackRock moving forward into this market only signals to me that more people are going to be doing this.
Yeah, well, I think the key figure to look at is how much money BlackRock manages. So you mentioned the 100 billion pound elephant in the room, whatever it is. They manage over $10 trillion in assets for institutions. Now, what happens when these institutions give them their money to be handled by BlackRock is there's sort of this silo. They have this set collection of assets that they could potentially invest in. And they've just added crypto to that silo. So they've just given $10 trillion worth of value access to the crypto market. So that is actually a really huge thing. And I think that a lot of people in institutional players may have been dissuaded from getting involved because it is difficult. You segment your money, you take it out of BlackRock, you put it in another thing. Now you have two things that you have to manage. It all gets very complicated. So the fact that they're now incorporating this into assets that they offer support for is a huge deal. But David, I'll throw it to you. I saw your hand up.
Yeah, so definitely the size is a huge note. And I want to sort of spin out a tiny little bit of a conspiracy theory here. We're all familiar with the repeated denials of applications for a Bitcoin ETF. And I think that one of the ideas that is floating around there, especially now that the futures ETF has been approved, is that Gensler is trying to use this as some kind of lever to get legislation that he wants about monitoring or something else. Now, BlackRock's involvement presumably would focus fairly heavily on Bitcoin in terms of institutional investors. And I think that, as uncomfortable as I am in some ways with institutional involvement with crypto, this would be a useful counterbalance to whatever agenda is stopping the Bitcoin ETF. And because BlackRock, for that size, immensely powerful. Those of you who remember a couple of years ago, they were, whatever your feelings about this, they were behind the big corporate ESG push, which also has some stuff to do with crypto that might be interesting to play out. But they can really move the conversation in a really serious way. So perhaps more than any other institutional asset manager getting involved in crypto, BlackRock is important and can change the conversation within the halls of power in a way that could shake loose some things that have been stuck for a while. So these all fit together in a way that I think is going to be very interesting. If this plays out, this is all still basically rumors, I guess, at this point. So
I always love a good conspiracy theory. It's always nice to dig into that. Yeah, I enjoyed that.